Okay, guys, sorry about that. Holy cow. Computer completely crashed on me as we were getting ready to go green. So we're a few minutes into the race, lap 5 specifically, of an estimated 87 laps, 2.4 hours or 2 hours and 24 minutes at Daytona. So that is unfortunate, but we do have our Atlantic second split underway. Let's take a peek at where things stand. Earlier today we ran 2 races, exactly the same races. One in the international region, which essentially covers the Australia and Asia area of the world, that ran at 6 p.m. Sydney time. We had 41 drivers taking part in the international split, first race of the year. And then this morning, or afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, we had our European split, which went off at 5 p.m. in London. And we had 108 drivers for that, 2 splits, and amazing race. The first split had 58 drivers, and then we've got Atlantic now. We've got about 58 drivers total. We decided to split that in 2. Now, the reason that we decided to split that in 2 is because we wanted to make sure that the talent pool was as even as possible, and we felt like there was just too big a disparity from the top to the bottom from Atlantic to run one split of 58, and we thought it would just a recipe for disaster. So instead we broke it into 2 splits. We got a split of about 37 for the pro and about 20 for 19, looks like 20 for the second split, or AM as we like to call it. So here we are, and if we look at, let's go through our field just real quick. We'll talk about who's leading in each class. We'll go through our Nissan GTPs first. So Mark Lossing is leading, and he was on pole. He is got about a 5.9 second lead over Eric Klein. Mark's running for Northern Lights out of Canada. There's Eric's Klein machine. Let's one of the things I want to do is give a good look at the machines themselves. I know people like to show off their paint schemes, so let's see what we got here. All right, there's Eric. Running second, he's close to gap to 5.6. Third in the GTPs, we've got Jeremy Hance. I'm going to make sure we've got all the right paints as well. Reload trading paints just real quick. We got Jeremy Hance running in third in the GTP field, 1 minute back. Closely followed by 10 seconds by Tyler Gonzalez. Ooh, running an old Jaguar scheme. Love it. Richard Eisel, newcomer, running for CED Motorsports with Marshall Williams as the owner of that team, running in 7th. He is minute 12 back, 7 laps in. Mark Blendowski, running number 781 out of Indiana, is a minute 18 back, and down a lap is Joshua Witherspoon. Josh must have had some trouble. He's running that old John Player scheme on a IMSA car. Love it. Looks awesome. Let's take a peek at our GTO category. Andrew Ridgway out of AR 15 Racing is running first. He has got he's got about a 5-second lead on Jonathan Diggs for second in class. There's Jonathan Diggs running a classic Martini scheme. Love it. Let's bring up our Matt Ridgway. Started shotgun on the field, is up to third in class now, so he's making good headway. Just getting cleared by a Nissan, and he's about 12 seconds off the lead. So he's gaining nicely. Jason Anderson also have AR-15 in 4th in class in the Audis. Got a little front end damage there. David Carlson running 5th. Decked out in majors colors, thank you, sir. Aaron Tolhurst running, he's running 6th, excuse me, in the number 97. Very simple looking car, love it. James Dowan running an Audi scheme is a lap down. Oh no, he's a lap down to the leader, but he's running 7th in the Audis. Taylor Frey running an old Tide scheme. He's got his windshield, the windshield cover in Downey. I like it. Samuel Doty out of Roadhog Racing, awesome looking car, number 66. One of his sponsors had that request, a Victory Beef car. Very nice looking car, Samuel. Craig Hawkins running the Red Bull, number 25. Audi, he's running in 11th in class, 17th overall. Aaron Brown, that is, I believe, the Awesome Team's car, and that is a great scheme. That is a beautiful looking scheme. They're Monster Energy, but it's a custom one, and it's a really good looking. And then Marshall Williams is running his CED Motorsports car, decked in some major colors, looking really good, Marshall. Glad to have you back. All right, so that's a quick rundown of the field. Let's talk about the race a little bit. So, go back up to Mark, who's got a 5-second lead, just clearing some traffic. But let's talk about the race a little bit. So this is the round 1 of the Major Series in 2018. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, the Major Series has been around. This is our 5th year. We started as the Northwest Majors back in 2014, and we ran, just for the Northwest Club, we ran a similar schedule where we ran all the most prestigious races in the world, did a 12-race schedule, and then in 2015 we expanded it to 4 clubs and added Texas and West and California. Ran a similar schedule. Always changing it up a little bit each year, adding a new race here, taking one away. And then this last year, we added 2 more clubs in Canada and Great Plains to bring our total to 6 clubs. And every year, we just got asked the question, I want to join, we'd like to get involved, And these were people who were restricted by region. They couldn't get in because they weren't one of the clubs that we allowed into the race. So we decided that we were going to open it up to everybody. And you know, we could have opened up the Pacific Majors and made it the Major Series and just had 1 race and kept it in the Pacific time slot. But I feel like that would have been, we wouldn't have got as much out of it, because we would have had a lot of people that, you know, either from, you know, Australasia or Europe that, you know, from a time perspective, it just wouldn't have been reasonable for them to race. And one of the things that I always felt was lacking in iRacing official major races or World Tour Series or whatever you want to call them, special events, was that somebody was always getting left out, that one region or another wasn't served well by the times of the races. And I thought, you know, this is silly. There's no reason that we can't have a race that is convenient for everyone, regardless of where you live, regardless of your schedule, work, or otherwise. We wanted to do that, so we created the Major Series with the 4 regions, and those are International, Europe, Atlantic, and Pacific. Now, this is Atlantic, obviously, so 3rd race of the day, and this is the 3rd race of the day, and we still have Pacific yet to come, so it's going to be interesting to see how the ebb and the flow of the season goes along, whether drivers are racing 1 race, all the races, which region has big turnouts for each race. This race, for example, Europe had a huge turnout, right? Not necessarily surprising given it's a road race, and B, it's a little bit of a niche road race. Whereas Atlantic, who actually has the biggest numbers of any other region in our series in terms of registrations, with over 350 registrations just from Atlantic, um, but we only got 58 drivers for this race. It's telling about the type of race. So that's going to happen throughout the season, or it'll be interesting. I really expect that next race, which is the Daytona 500 in 3 weeks for Atlantic, I think it's going to be huge. I think that we'll have 200 plus drivers in the Atlantic region alone, and so making the top split's going to be quite a chore. But anyway, this race kicking off the year, Daytona 2.4, classic cars running the Nissan GTP and the Audi GTO. From the late 80s, early 90s time frame of IMSA. So what we've found this week is that the drivers have had an interesting time getting up to speed with these cars because they drive completely different to anything else they're used to, whether it be GT3 or NASCAR or IndyCar or whatever. It's a completely different animal. So it's been fun to watch. One of the other really cool things about the week has been that as a group, as a team, if you will, I like to think of the major series drivers as a big team. These guys put in over 37,000 laps of practice in total. It's incredible. One driver, Ray Partridge, out of the Pacific region, put in over 800 laps. He was our Ironman of the week. Pretty impressive as we watch Mark continue to lead this baby with a 5.8 second lead on Eric Klein. That lead's not growing a whole lot, but hanging tough. Jeremy Hans is in third, but a minute 27 back. So at this moment in time, it's a two-horse race. But one of the things that we saw in the earlier regions was that anything can happen, whether it's traffic getting in the way or a strategy gone awry. We actually saw multiple people run out of gas in the European split. So running out of fuel had a huge impact on the race. Traffic had interclass battles and incidents. Unfortunately, had a big impact on the race. So nothing is done and dusted by any stretch of the imagination. But Mark is doing a good job right now. He's coming up on another. Looks like Richard Eisel from CED, and Richard are deciding who's going which way. Stay low, buddy. If you're the slower car, stay low on the track. But there he goes. So anyway, hopefully we're back up to speed a little bit. I apologize for the computer issues at the start of the race. That kind of stinks. Also, I'm a total rookie at this whole broadcasting thing, so bear with me, forgive me. We're just playing this by ear, really. There's Eric. He's now going to be going by Richard, and he's in the infield, so is he going to stay behind him? We'll try to watch him get around him. He's being patient as he tries to get around Richard. He realizes he's lapped, and he's actually closed the gap to 4.5 seconds, even though he's trapped right now, so he's doing a good job. He should blow by him on the straight, and hopefully Richard stays low. Lets him on by. Oh no, Eric spins it. Get it going, buddy. There he goes. He's back up and running. Well, that has ended the battle for the lead for the moment as Richard escapes away. Let's take a peek at our lead in the GTO. Andrew has got himself a comfortable little gap. So he's going through turn one right now, and Matt is just crossing the start-finish line. So he's got himself a decent little gap on second. Matt has made his way through from the back of the field to second. We'll see if he can run all the way up to his teammate. It'll be interesting. Looks like you got somebody in the pits. So 781, Mark Blondowski. What's going on with Mark? Don't know what happened to Mark. Let's give Samuel a look here. Sam is running 8th in class. Last lap of a 150, fastest lap of a 149.4, so he's running somewhat consistent laps. He's got Taylor Frey on him for position right behind him, who's also in that same general area. And Aaron Brown is, actually they're all right there battling for position, aren't they? For the moment, Samuel escapes. Although Taylor's not gonna. Let's get a good look at Taylor actually. From the chase view here, as he tries to run down Sam in that Roadhog machine. Taylor, I know, spent a lot of the week preparing and sort of lamenting his car choice. I think he wanted to go back into the Nissan. I don't know if he felt like he would have been better off in that car, but he's doing okay. He's hanging in there. Currently 14th overall, running 9th in class. He's got a last lap of 155, so a little bit slow in the last lap. He's down 3 spots from the start of the race. But gaining. I think he's a tick faster than Samuel overall, but maybe is he as consistent? Let's find out. Alright, so Casey Drake, also a member of the Awesome team, has now gotten around Taylor and is going to set his sights on Samuel. We're going to see Taylor suck right back up on him in the draft, and he's going to try to take the spot back immediately. And he does for the moment. They're heading into the bus stop. Somebody going to give? Taylor gives. Once again, draft comes into play. Casey stays low to block, but Taylor goes around him on the outside. Easy peasy. And he's gone. We're right on board with Casey as he tries to hunt down Taylor. They're having a nice little battle. And somehow they got around. Oh, Samuel's in the pit lane early. What's happened? And now Taylor gets off track in case he gets by him. So they're no lack of action here for 9th and 10th, or 8th and 9th in class at all. Got an hour and 56 minutes to go. We're just about 30 minutes into this thing, so there's all day to go. As Mark Lossing puts another lap on Taylor, and here's Mark going around Casey. Again, the Nissans, no lack of power. Everybody's still out there running. We got nobody more than 2 laps down. And it looks like every single car is on track currently. 17 laps in, so glad to see that. 3 cars having made at least 1 stop. Probably for some sort of an incident. One thing that you should know is that each one of these drivers has a spare car at their disposal. So if they get into an incident, they can come in, crew gets them a new car, and they're back out and running. That only can happen one time though, so you got to be a little bit careful. There's also what's called an incident limit. So every time a driver goes off track, that would be an incident. If they have car contact with another vehicle, that would be 4 incidents. If they lose control of their vehicle, that would be 2 incidents, and they can only rack up 40 of those before the sim itself will disqualify them. So you got to be careful about that for sure. And Mark now has a 25-second lead, so if he can just stay steady, you'd think he's got this thing in the bag, but let me tell you, in 2.5 hours, a lot can happen. Let's go back up to the front of our GTO field, see how Matt and Andrew are doing. So Andrew's now up to 4th overall, not even in class. He's first in class, 4th overall. That's quite an impressive run. He is running, let's see, a 147 was his last lap. It's very competitive. And in terms of inside his class, actually Matt was a 144, so he gained 3 seconds a lap on him. That was actually his best lap. David Carlson a 145, so they're competitive with Andrew. Jonathan Diggs a 149 last lap. Jason Anderson a 147. So our top 5 in the GTOs really are running decent lap times, and it's anybody's game, to be honest. A mistake's gonna decide the win or loss here. All right, and there's our leader. Let's see where they compare. So he's on the back stretch right now. Let's see where his nearest competitor is. Matt is in the tri-oval, or in the bus stop. Not too far off. So Matt is definitely closing. See what his there he goes, and his most recent time 146, so he gained another 2/10 that lap on Andrew's teammate. Again, these are teammates, Andrew, Matt, and Jason Anderson, all teammates out of AR-15. Got a couple teammates from the Awesome team in here. We got a couple teammates from the CED Motorsports. It's good to see. Good to see. Mark Lossing again running. I think he's the only Northern Lights driver in this race. He's got a lot of teammates in the Pacific region. I know he's got a lot of support there, so I think it's probably playing into his setup. And really, Mark was right on the edge of making the pro for this race, and he really could have competed probably. Maybe not for the win, but he would have been competitive, and he's showing why today. Again, running with a 25-second gap, clearing traffic nicely. Here's another look at the Northern Lights machine. So the actual stints should be running in the near 30 lap range for the Nissans. So as Mark leads this race, next round is not going to be in these cars. The drivers who do well today may or may not do well in the next round or the next round, and really who is going to come to the forefront is really not known yet. And that's the idea behind the major series, is that we determine who is the most versatile, the best driver. In fact, our champion of the year is called the Mario Andretti Drivers Champion of the Year, and that is not just a title for the sake of having a nice title. That's actually something that Mario Andretti gave us his blessing on himself personally. A couple years ago, we contacted him and said, we really feel like what we're emulating or trying to simulate is, in a way similar to what your whole career embodied. That you could drive anything, anywhere, and do it well. And we felt like our champion sort of embodied that spirit. Certainly not at the same level, but the same spirit. And I was shocked and pleasantly surprised when they came back and said, yeah, absolutely, Mario would love for you to use his name on your trophy. So that's pretty cool. And so each year we give the champion driver of the year a trophy in Mario's likeness. This will be no different. Now, the guys in the second split here may not be fighting for the Mario Andretti championship in their region, but we do have a ton of championships available to all of our drivers, and one of them, which would probably be appropriate for a split like this, a second split, is a sportsman championship. And so that's for any driver who has an I rating of less than 2,000. And as I kind of peer over this field, I see that every single driver is in that category, under 2,000. So all of the drivers in this race are eligible for the sportsman championship. And that's over the course of the year. Who has the most points after 14 races? Now, each driver does get 2 drops, 1 oval and 1 road, so you've got to count your best 6 oval and your best 6 road races on the year, and whoever's the best at the end is the champion. And again, so we've got a Mario Andretti, which is our overall best winner, best driver in each region. So there's 4 of those for each of our regions. We have a sportsman champion, which again is anybody under 2,000 I rating, and that's in every region. We have a Legends Championship, which is for any driver that's 50 years old or older by the time the season ends. We also have every club in the series has a championship. So whether it's Indiana or New York or Virginia's or wherever else, you are competing against the other drivers from your club for your club championship. Now that's cool in and of itself to be the champion of your club, but it carries with it another perk, and that is that the champion from each club is invited to our Champions Charity Finale at the end of the race. And that's really just a championship race, right? It's kind of like Homestead for NASCAR, where it's a final race, but instead of being contested in 4 different regions, the championship race, we bring all of the champions together for one race. So all of our 35 club champions and the top 3 drivers in the overall standings in each region are invited to the Champions Charity Finale. Now, one of the neat things about the Champions Charity Finale is that at the end of that, we raise money for a charity, hence the name, Champions Charity. Each driver gets to pick a charity that they want to represent, and the winner of the 2 races, so we'll run 1 oval and 1 road in the Champions Charity Finale, in a K&N car and in the Formula Renault. The winner of those 2 races is our overall champion, is the champion of the year for all the regions, and all of the money raised goes towards their charity, $1,000. It's really neat. So there's a big perk to being the overall champion. And again, so even if you're not in the pro split, or even if you're not fighting for the Mario Andretti title in your region, you might be fighting for your club championship, right? You may have only 5, 10, 15 guys that you're fighting against for your club championship, and so keeps you engaged there. We also have a team championship. A lot of these guys are involved in teams, as we mentioned, CED Motorsports and the Awesome Team and AR-15, etc. In this race alone, Northern Lights, big team, and so we have a team championship. We call it the Constructors Championship, and in addition to bragging rights, right, in terms of having the best team, we have a team championship race, and that's Le Mans. So we have a 24-hour race for the major series, and we call it the Majors 24. It's the Majors 24 at Le Mans, and all of our season pass holders. It's a special event, so all of our season pass holders are invited to compete. But with the new LMP1 car coming out from iRacing, if you would like to race in the LMP1 class, you've got to be a top 3 in the constructor standings in your region after Indianapolis, after the 500. So if you're in the Atlantic region, as these guys are, and you're running for CED Motorsports or AR15 or the Austin team or whatever, if you want to run the LMP1 at Le Mans, you got to be in the top 3 in the constructor standings following Indianapolis. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. So that's another one of our championships. Again, the idea is that we also have an Ironman award, which goes to each and every driver that completes all 14 races. So every driver in this race is still eligible, right? In every race we have, people will drop off. For example, in this race across all 4 regions, we've got 299 drivers who qualified fully to race today. And so there's 299 drivers that are currently, through one race of the season, eligible to win the Ironman or to be the Ironman. Now that number is going to fall as the season goes along. Obviously, so people race, sign up to race particular types of racing. Some people don't have all the content, whatever the case may be, but there are lots of folks that are going to race them all. And so at the end of the year, everybody, however many that may be, whether it's 40, 50, 60, 100, all of the Ironmen will be invited to our Iron Warrior triathlon, if you will. And essentially what that's going to be is it's a demo derby, but it's the most unique demo derby you've ever heard of. And basically you'll run a set number of laps in 3 different disciplines: dirt oval, speedway oval, and a road course. And you got to complete, like I said, you got to complete a certain number of laps in each discipline. So you might have to complete 100 laps on a dirt oval, you might have to complete 50 laps on a speedway, and you might have to complete 25 laps on the road course. You got to do that in succession, so just like a triathlon, just like the Ironman triathlon, and it's a demo derby at the same time. So you can take out your competitors or be taken out. And so the winner will be unknown for sure. Now, the winner of that competition gets $100. So, to be frank, the Ironman award is not for somebody who's necessarily the most skilled driver in the world. It could very well go to a skilled driver, but it's not necessarily. We watch Marshall Williams have a little bit of trouble here. Oh, excuse me, that's Mark Lossing. Went around, our leader went around. Let's see, where does that put Eric? He's now closed that gap to 26 seconds. And he is coming, ooh, there, he's closed it dramatically. Now down to 17 seconds. That spin has hurt Mark Lossing, and like I said, we have got ourselves a race on for the overall win. And then in 3rd and 4th are the Audis, so that's crazy. So we've got Andrew and Matt Ridgway are battling for the class win and for an overall podium. Would not expect that. But again, it's difficult to keep these Nissans on the track the whole time, and so a few errors here and there cause those guys to back up. We'll see how that ebbs and flows throughout the day. But anyway, so the Iron Warrior champion is just anybody who's raced all 14 races and then survives the Iron Warrior event. The winner of that gets $100. So lots of little special things on offer for our drivers. 14 regular season races, 5 or 6 special events available to our season pass holders. I'm extremely excited for the year. So, all right, Eric, now coming on to NASCAR. Whoa, and Andrew Ridgway just gets into I want to say that's Casey. No, that was Aaron Brown. Yes, that was Aaron Brown, who they must have just had a different closing speed altogether. Let's go look at this battle as Andrew goes by him this time. I wonder if he's got a little bit of front end damage from hitting him, though. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So he does get around him. He's now into the infield, so that was important to do because Matt is still behind him and coming in now in turn one himself. And Matt's still almost a second faster that last lap. So he continues to cut into the lead as Eric Klein has now reduced the gap to Mark Lossing by about 13 seconds that last lap because of Mark's spin. 12.3 seconds back is Eric. So we've definitely got a battle on in both classes for the win. And again, at this moment in time, we have all 20 drivers on track. It's good to see. Samuel has had one stop. Ooh, Taylor's been in the pits twice. He's now 4 laps down, a lap down to the nearest competitor in class, but still out there trucking, keeping that time machine going. 28 laps in, got an hour and 38 minutes to go. We are rapidly approaching being on track for 1 hour. And everybody's still running, so that's good. Alright, here's Matt. We're going to focus on him for a little bit, chasing down Andrew. Alright, here's Matt. Focus on he was again 8/10 of a second faster last lap. Who's he got in front of him? Somehow he's got a toe on that Nissan, but he's got another Nissan blowing by him. That's Jeremy Hans. Actually, they're on the same lap, so obviously Jeremy's had a little bit of trouble. And you can see by the car, unfortunately, that is in fact true. But Matt is able to hang on to the toe and Yeah, Matt is still down to Andrew by just a little bit. And Matt's coming in for his first pit stop. This is scheduled 30 laps in. This is right about when you want to pit. It's going to be very interesting. Let's see if Andrew has done the same. Nope, Andrew's still on track. So we're going to see what kind of a gap he can pull, if any. Pit lane is going to be really important. There you can see Matt sitting on pit lane. Where is he going to come out? Again, I realize this probably isn't the greatest stream
What the heck, dude?
quality ever. First go, rookie run, maiden voyage for a major series broadcasting in terms of a live event. Here comes Matt. Leaving the pits now. There he goes. Now, what we want to keep an eye on is when does his teammate Andrew come in. Now Andrew's built up a nice, it was 1 minute and 8 seconds total in pit lane, and his stop was 48 seconds, so it gives you an idea. If Andrew can beat that, then he's going to increase his lead. If he can't, then Matt's going to close up in on him. Now Eric Klein is 1 minute 25 back of Mark Lossing for the GTP lead, but that's deceiving because he has made a stop where Mark has not. So if he has a stop anywhere close to 1 minute long, we're going to have a very close battle when Mark comes out of the pits. Let's watch Andrew for a minute here because I have a feeling he's going to be coming down any second, as will probably... Oh, and Mark Lossing is in the pits. Our leader is in the pits, and now he's coming out. Going to be very, very interested to see. So his stop was slightly slower than Eric's. Eric was making gains on him before that, so we're going to find out. Where he's going to come out. There's that number 743, looking sharp. But it's an 11-second lead is all he's got from Eric, and Eric is, I think, running slightly faster lap times, lap in and lap out. I'm going to be very interested to see how that all plays in. Let's see where Andrew's at. Andrew's still on track. He's not made that first pit stop yet. We're going to see how long he can extend this thing. You know, we have not seen a ton of on-track contact, and Manny's now in. Andrew's in the pits. Now we're going to know. So his target here, real simple, is can he beat 1 minute and 8 seconds in pit lane total? If he can, he's going to gain. He's going to increase his lead. If he can't, it's going to reduce. And he can't afford for it to reduce because, frankly, Matt is slightly faster, lap in and lap out. So he needs to maintain every bit of advantage he can. You watch him go up on his jacks. Does he take his free repair? Does he take his new car? Because he does have some damage. It doesn't look like it. So he's going to stick with it. He's going to let it roll. He's saving that for another day. He did get a little bit of the damage repaired, though, it looks like. But that's probably a smart move, because if you have something catastrophic happen on later, then you've still got that in your hip pocket. So smart move to hold that in when the damage is not impairing your speed too greatly. And now he's out. So we're just waiting on Joshua Witherspoon and Jason Anderson to make their first pit. So Jason is actually leapfrogged Andrew and their teammates, but he's not pitted. So when he does, I expect that Andrew will retake the lead. What I'm really interested to see is how far ahead of Matt Andrew is. And their stops were almost identical. As a matter of fact, Andrew was just a tiny bit faster. He needed that. Alright, so Andrew, let's see when he hits the oval. We'll take a look at where Matt is at to get a good idea of the gap. So Andrew's now on the oval, and Matt is not far behind at all. See, let's go back to our now. There he is. Our leader is in. Jason Anderson is finally ducked in. He's on lap 33. He's still going to have to do 2 stops, but the second one, if he does another 33, is going to be short. Not going to have as much fuel to put in. We'll see if he elects to not take tires in that last stop. He could save some time. Let's see what kind of time he puts on this lap. Again, his teammates ran about a 47, 48 second pit stops. We'll see if he can shave anything off that, because he doesn't quite have their pace. He is still in the pit lane, 46, 47. They need to drop any second. And he does, 48 seconds. 48 second stop. And he is... Put again. Total stop was a minute 8. So indiscernible difference between the 3 teammates who are running, have been running first, second, and third in class. But David Carlson now has leapt over Jason for third. Just barely, because Jason's coming out of the pit, so they're going to have a nice battle for the podium in class. Matter of fact, let's take a quick peek. And David looks like he's coming up on Samuel. Yep, that's right. Samuel running 10th, so he's picked up a spot in the last little bit. He did start 18th, and he's up to 14th, so he's gained 4 on the day. Our top 5 as they run. Mark Lossing first, has been all day, but that lead is slowly and surely shrinking. Eric has not gone away, and as far as I can remember, Mark just had the one little spin into the infield. Didn't hurt his car, but lost a lot of time, and Eric's been just a tick faster lap in and lap out, and is at 9.4 seconds back. Not gaining fast, but I'll tell you what, with an hour and 26 minutes to go, or 1 hour into this race, he's got the pace to do it if he just continues at lap in and lap out. Samuel's getting passed here by David Carlson, or he was thinking about it. Turn 1 can be a little hairy in these things for sure, so David waits. That is going to give Jason an opportunity possibly to close up on him, though. Let's see where he might be. He's a little bit back. But I'm going to guess that if David is held up at all, and I'm sure he will be in the infield, that, yeah, he's still traveling behind Samuel here. So if he can't get by him here in a hurry, he's going to have a mirror full of Jason Anderson for third in class, that all-important podium spot. I'm digging the short bus. The short bus car here for David. I love it. As he goes around, or tries to go around, he's just, for whatever reason, I don't know if he's down on top speed, but he's having a hard time getting around Samuel, who's a couple, or at least one lap down. So he's one lap up on Sam, but he can't quite make it happen. Actually, as I'm got this chopper view going and I'm taking a better look at David's car, he is representing big time on the Major Series. He's got all of our sponsors, current and former, on that thing. Thank you, sir. That's awesome to see. He's got some Cal Speed karting action, got some iRacing action. He's got the sim pit. I love it. I love it. That thing stands out in the crowd. There's no doubt about it. Okay, they're going side by side. Samuel looks like he finally gives up the ghost, and David gets by him. So, can he now gap him? Will Samuel be basically running a pick for him as Jason comes up on him for that third spot? We'll see. It does look like Samuel's got the leader overall, Mark Lossing, coming up on him. He does indeed. So here comes Mark up on Mark blows by him on the outside, easy peasy. That's how it works for the Nissans. And that's how you're supposed to do it, staying low. Thank you, Samuel. Boy, best looking paint scheme of the night, though. It's a tough one. This is a great looking car in my mind for Sam and the Roadhog team. But the awesome team, let's get a look at that from the chopper view, because this is a really good looking car. Looking at Aaron Brown running 11th in class, 17th overall. He started 10th, he's down to 17th, so unfortunately he's not had the race he wants, but it probably means he's got some pace in him. I would say it's not over for him to pick up several spots if he can stay clean. Again, we got an hour and 22 minutes to go. Plenty of time. Good looking car though, man. Marshall Williams is an excellent painter on iRacing, does some incredible stuff. He actually made some really neat Majors themed cars for us during the off season. I run the Mercedes that he designed. It's really cool. And again, if you look at this car from the chopper, how neat is that looking? Take a look at it from the rear chase again. Another good looking view. And the chase. Very nice. Marshall running 10th in class, 16th overall, started 19th, so he's picked up 3 spots. Marshall got into the race late this week. He's had some personal stuff going on, and I wish you the best, buddy. Glad to see you back out here. Whoa. Who was that? Tyler? Yep, Tyler Gonzalez having a little bit of an issue. He's running 6th out of 7. And definitely is down on speed. 2 minutes and 5 seconds last lap, so not sure what happened to him. He started 7th, which is 7th out of 7 in class, and he's in 16th overall, but he's picked up a spot in class. As Mark Blendowski, is has had more issues, sadly, and he's now coming out of the pits. So again, enough time that Mark can definitely make that up. He started 5th, so he's down to 7th in class. We'll see if he can't pick any of that up. One one of the things about the Major Series is the race itself is really just sort of the icing on the cake. It's the last bit of the week, but whereas in Mark's seriously down on power. I wonder if he's just letting guys through or if his car is just that badly damaged. See what happens when he gets onto the oval. That'll be the tell. David Carlson is an Audi, should not be passing him on the oval, and he's now pulling away, but something's wrong with that car for sure, unfortunately. Maybe he's out of his, maybe he's used his spare car, and the repairs are going to take too long, I don't know, or maybe he's repaired it fully. That certainly could be the case. So he's now 9 laps down. He's 3 laps down to his next competitor, so I'm guessing that is the case. He's tried to repair it. It's probably just not to a point where he can get up to speed where he'd like to. Field's small enough that he's not really causing any problems at this point, so he's okay. Just stay, as long as he was trying to stay out of the way, but he's, and again, in Nissan he's just that much faster, even if his car is down on power compared to an Audi. Anyway, with regard to race week, the race day itself is only a small part of the experience. And these guys, again, as I mentioned before, put in over 37,000 laps of practice getting ready for the race. It's an opportunity to get to know your competitors, work with your teammates. Tons of people have really embraced that idea and gotten involved with their teams and are using our communication channels to do so, making obviously some awesome looking paint schemes as we're seeing today. So it's been neat to see. What I'm going to be curious about is to see how the teams continue to gel as the season goes along, as you use expertise from one area of racing. I know a lot of guys in the Atlantic region, and in this race particularly, are really what they would consider themselves to be oval specialists, or maybe even oval-only guys, and they're really getting out of their comfort zone to race in these cars, and I say kudos to you for doing that. That's what this series is all about, is testing yourself in a way that you've not been tested before, and as uncomfortable as that may be, right? So we like to say with the Major Series, it's all the time zones, but none of the comfort zones. And this race, kicking off the year, is the track is not the most difficult track in the world to run on the road, obviously. But these guys are used to, most iRacing members are used to running, GT3 cars or current IMSA cars on this track, and it's a whole nother deal with these things. So not the easiest combo to start the year out, and appreciate the effort that was put in this week by all drivers. Again, 37,000 laps is nothing to sneeze at. Pretty impressive in my mind. All right, Mark, you got yourself some screen time despite a tough race. I'm sorry, buddy. Let's go back to the front where the lead is now 12 seconds. So Mark has bumped it up in 13 seconds over Eric. So he's found either a little pace or maybe Eric ran into a little bit of trouble. Yeah, the last lap was 2 seconds quicker for Mark. So 137 to a 139. Give our leader a little love here. Mark Lossing's been a member of the series for a couple years now, maybe 3. I want to say this might be his 3rd year, 2nd for sure. And again, part of that Northern Lights team led by Ernie Ludwig, Jeremy Morrison. Good team, awesome guys. They embody what the whole series is about. We call it gentleman racing. You're here racing yourself. You're racing the track more than you're racing your competitors, honestly. Your finish is relative to your own potential and your own skill, and the idea is that you expand upon that throughout the year. And I think most people, as they run the series and as they continue to run races that they're not familiar with and uncomfortable with, they find that their overall skill set increases. And I've certainly seen that with guys like Brian Bennett, who, while is is a road guy, has massively increased his ability on the ovals to the point where he won the Indy 500 last year in the Pacific Majors, and he's just improved overall, right? In terms of, he's gone from a very good, capable sim racer to, in my mind, elite. He took the guest pass, the one guest pass that each driver gets in the season, to run in a different region than his home region and still keep the points. So Brian normally races in the Pacific region, and because of the Super Bowl, he didn't want to miss any of the Super Bowl. He chose to use his guest pass to race in the European split this morning, And that split was insane in terms of the amount of speed and talent in it at the top split. He qualified well, made the pro split, and he finished second. Um, I mean, in a horde of Finns, in a horde of UK and I drivers, in a horde of German drivers. I mean, he more than held his own, and so I think that's one of the things that the series really does is it promotes improvement and it promotes you getting better at things where you weren't before, things where you struggled at before. So we like to see that. I'd love to see guys progress and get better as the season and the years go on. And again, it's been good. It's great to see Mark leading this race as a veteran of the series. 13.6 seconds up on Eric. Andrew still holding off Matt. Let's see by how much. Andrew is coming to the line now. He just crossed the line. Matt is doing the same. Whoa. So we've got ourselves a battle for the lead. I'm going to focus in on this bad boy. Let's go into cockpit mode. We're going to ride along with Matt Ridgway as he tries to chase down Andrew Ridgway for the lead in the Audi class, GTO class. He's just a few seconds back. He's 8 seconds back, to be specific. Just see, since everybody's taken one stop, most drivers have taken one stop. People who have taken more have had trouble, but you can see that the average stops here are in that 48-second range. Again, Mark has led this thing wire to wire so far in the GTP class. 43 laps in, 13 seconds up on Eric Klein. I think it's going to be a good battle before it's over, though. Matt has not led a lap. Started dead last in the field, dead last in his class, and he's now up to 5th overall, 2nd in class. It's an awesome drive. It's now 7.4 seconds back of Andrew. He continues to cut into that just little by little by little. David Carlson 12 seconds behind him. Jonathan Diggs has actually made a nice little move. He's within 30 seconds. So all these guys in the top 5 are on the lead lap in the Audis. So that's good to see. and 10 minutes to go. We're just about exactly halfway through. So it has been a long race already. We've seen some incidents, but not a lot of on-track stuff, which is good. Jason's 12 seconds back at Jonathan. Our best battle is still Matt Ridgway chasing down Andrew, his teammate, and he continues to cut into it. He's now down to 6.3 seconds back. .5 seconds back. So I think what's going on is that Andrew has honestly put in more laps of practice, a little more comfortable with the car, and is able to consistently put down those 147s, 146s, whereas Matt will run 144s, 145s, but he will have an off lap here and there. Not quite as consistent, so he, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back sort of a situation. It's going to be interesting to see how he times that as we get towards the end of the race, if that's going to be enough. I think it's going to be, if we stay on pace, it's going to be really close for the win in the end. Right now in the GTP category, the Nissans, we've got 3 drivers in the lead lap. No, check that, 2 drivers on the lead lap. That's just still Eric and Mark. Joshua Witherspoon 2 laps down. So it's a 2-horse race at this point for the Nissan. And I would say it's a little bit more expanded than that for the Audis because they're on the same lap, anything can happen. We may have had our first casualty. I see Jeremy Hans is not on track. Sorry to see that. Mark Blondowski continues to truck along. 9 laps down, but not giving up the ghost. Although his poor car is obviously in bad shape. And it looks like Casey Drake is not on the track either. So Mark's going to pick up another spot here shortly. It looks like very shortly. And Tyler 9 laps down. Two laps to his nearest competitor. Haven't looked at Taylor in a little while. There's that Tide Machine running 12th in class, 16th overall. The thing about when you challenge yourself in one of these races in some machinery that you've not run before or something that you're not really comfortable in. Again, a lot of these guys put in a ton of laps to try to get ready, but even so, it takes a long time to master something like this. And so at the end of the day, survival is a goal. And if you can make it to the end of the 2 hours and 24 minutes, you've accomplished something for sure. And so even, laps down, struggling, working hard, if you can make it to the end, you have made something happen, and you should be proud of yourself. And that's really what the series of bodies is, that effort, that working class sort of a feel. Taylor's 6 laps down to the leader. 3 laps down to the leader in class. He's hanging in there, doing fine. He's got 2 stops under his belt. I'm sure he's gonna have to stop one more time. He's still got 40 laps to go, roughly. For an hour and 6 minutes, so. There goes there's our leader, Mark Lossing. He's picked his lead back up to 16 seconds, so Eric has had a couple rough laps, and all that work to get to within 10 seconds has gone away in a poof, unfortunately. Matter of fact, Eric is the car we haven't watched a lot lately, so here we go. Running second overall, second in class. It's funny when you watch a broadcast. I know I'm guilty of this for sure. You know, you don't really think about how difficult all the different components are. But I will say that in the last couple years, as we've tried to expand our broadcasting to have, you know, coverage for both the pro split and our first split, or our second split, I should say. Um, you know, as we have done that, you know, we found that there is the cream of the crop with regard to broadcasters, and they do, and the product that they put out is nothing short of spectacular. You know, and the fact that we have really our first choice in all four of our regions, with the V8s Online covering the international region, and RaceSpot covering the European region, and LSRTV, covering the Atlantic region, which we're running right now, but they're covering the pro split. And of course, GSRC, who is our flagship broadcaster, they're the ones that have been with us for 5 years. This is our 5th year with GSRC covering the Pacific region. We've got the best of the best covering this, and they do an amazing job. And as I'm sitting here watching this race and commentating or trying to, I realize how difficult it is to fill air for 2 hours and 24 minutes. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure I'm capable. So we're going to continue to do our best. Obviously, having a conversation with myself is a challenge. Not that interesting, to be honest. But no, just a kudos to those guys that do an awesome job. But one of the reasons that we're doing this, and again, it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be a bumpy road at first, trying to figure out all the ins and outs of streaming and doing a decent job at it. So bear with us, first of all. But one of the reasons that we're doing it, or really probably the biggest reason, is, you know, we consider, you know, just racing in one of these races is a big deal, whether it's first split, second split, whatever. And we think it's important to cover as many of the drivers as humanly possible. And as I have over the last couple of years trying to contract broadcasting for a second split, I got to tell you, it has not been easy to find reliable people that do a good job. Now, oftentimes we'll find people that can put a nice product on the screen in terms of their overlay looks pretty good, the quality of the stream can be pretty decent, but not necessarily the knowledge of our league, the series, right, or the drivers involved or whatnot, or sometimes they won't have either. Sometimes, you know, we've had issues where, you know, had folks not show up to do the stream. So, you know, as this offseason, as we put together our wish list for our streamers, and we got the best 4 that we wanted for our pro splits, I really ran into a situation where we weren't able to cover everything we wanted for our secondary splits in the way that we wanted it. And so, really, at the last minute, I decided, you know what, we're just going to try this, and we're going to give it a go. And you know what, we're going to make it work one way or another. I'm going to broadcast some of our special events, partially from the Major Series website or YouTube channel. You know, I'm sure Le Mans will have. I know we're going to have GSRC and some of the other broadcasters on there for several hours, but we may be on there too for a good portion of the middle of the race. We'll do like the All-Star race. We'll do things like that on our channel. So we'll continue to get better, and we'll continue to do the second splits of the regions that need them. Right? I hope that the international region needs a second split for Daytona 500. I'm guessing they will. I'm positive that, you know, Atlantic and Pacific are going to continue to need second splits for every race, right? That's the idea anyway, and we'll be there to do it. We'll hopefully get better as time goes by. You know, if I'm driving you crazy, listening to this or watching this, you know, leave some feedback. That's fine. We'll get better. We'll do this right. You know, I feel real good about our ability to run a series. I feel much less good about our ability to broadcast that. That's why I've always paid people to do it. But we'll get better at it, right? And it's not going to be the best out there. That's not the case. That's not the plan. I want it to be good. I want it to be knowledgeable. I want, you know, us to know what we're talking about with regard to the competitors on track, and hopefully bring you something that you want to watch. So it's a little insight into why we're doing this. And if you're wondering what the heck, this is horrible, I'm sorry. we'll get better. I promise. All right, Eric Klein. Back to Eric Klein. He's just continued to lose in time to Mark. I'm not sure what happened, if he got some damage or what, but another 2 seconds gone. The last lap, up to 19 seconds behind, where he was gaining on Mark. He's now losing. So either Mark found himself another gear, or just some more consistency, or Eric has lost it. I'm not sure which, to be honest. Ooh, we got a tight battle between Andrew and Matt. Let's take a look. And they are there. He's on him. This is for the lead in the GTOs, as they've got a Nissan going around them. So here we go into the infield now. How patient is Matt going to be? He's been faster the whole race, no question. Andrew started up front, and Matt started at the back, and he's made his way from 20th on the grid to 5th, second in class, and he's now looking inside. Here we go. Oh, nope. Andrew opened the door. Matt's looking inside. He's got him. They go too wide through the Weston, and they're drag racing. Now Andrew should have the preferred line. He does. So Andrew keeps the lead by staying on the inside, heading on to NASCAR. But the draft's going to prove critical here, as Matt had to let a Nissan go by. A little dicey there. And now Matt is fully in the tow of Andrew for the lead in the Audi class. With just under an hour to go, we are full on racing for the lead. Now, in reality, Matt is the faster car, so once he gets by, and he does so now, once he gets by, in theory, that's going to be all she wrote. He's now gapped Andrew by a second, and there he is. You can see Andrew in the background there. Andrew's been very consistent though, and so is Matt really. But this is so close that one error, one encounter with another car, is going to change everything. So, battle for the lead is fully on. Alright, and here is Andrew chasing down Matt. Teammates, AR-15, first and second in the Audis. Obviously, being teammates, you're going to give each other a little more respect. You hope everybody gives everybody respect, but from a teammate, you would expect it. And that happened in their battle. It was very respectful. Matt had the pace. Andrew didn't let him through, but he didn't block him or anything. right now, teammate Matt is pulling away from teammate Andrew and up to 1.3-second gap. So we'll pull away from this battle just for a little bit, see if anything changes. Let's go check out our buddy Samuel Doty. Sam's also going to be giving us some admin services in the Pacific region after this, so he's going to help us be some eyes and ears in the server. Appreciate that. Alright, his silver and black 66. Victory Beef. Audi. Do want to take a minute to thank our race sponsor, Apex Racing Apparel, for sponsoring this race. If you're not following them on Twitter, Apex Racing online, look up Apex Racing Apparel. You'll find him. He makes some really clever t-shirts, let me tell you. Sammy ran a 151 last lap. Still a 149.06 is his best lap. So he's knocking him out pretty consistent. He's got 2 stops in him. I don't know that he might be done stopping. We'll see. Again, for a lot of these guys, surviving this race is the goal, and it's something to be proud of if you do. Let's take a look at that. A little bit crumpled up, unfortunately. Awesome team ride there, the number 346 for Aaron. Running 7th in class, 10th overall. Oh, when he loops it. Doggone it. Going to see what that looks like in slow-mo. Alright, back live. Richard Eisel, we haven't taken a look at too much. Let's see how he's doing. Richard is sitting in pit lane. Is that because of any sort of damage? He's running for CED under Marshall. I don't see anything happening. I wonder if he's got too much damage or if he's being repaired as we speak. Taylor's coming off the pit lane after his 3rd stop. Craig Hawkins. Do love that ride, that Red Bull inspired scheme. Wouldn't have seen that back in the 80s, but it looks good on it, that's for sure. Looks like Andrew has closed back up to 0.7 seconds behind Matt. He's not giving this up yet. Let's see what he can do.
Thanks, Sam.
he is firmly in the toe of teammate Matt. If he can just stay there, he's half a second back. He's in the draft. In theory, if their pace is close enough, even if Matt's a little faster, he should be able to hang on to him. And as a matter of fact, he is going to make a play for the lead. And he goes right around. Right around. Let's watch that again. There he goes. So, Andrew back to the lead. This is going to be interesting. Let's see what it looks like from his gearbox. Alright. So, Andrew was 3 seconds quicker that lap. So, Matt may have had a little bit of trouble or ran into some traffic. And right now, Matt is in the toe of Andrew big time. Again, this is easily our best battle. Oh, uh-oh, something's happened to Mark Lossing. Eric Klein has taken the lead. Mark is not on track. We'll go check that out here in just a second. And now he's 2 laps down. Oh no, Mark's led the whole race. And he has had something happen. That's why it's a 2 hours and 24-minute race. Anything can happen. 47 minutes to go. Battle up front in GTOs is super tight. Even David Carlson's only 32 seconds back. Really, that is within striking distance if anything happens. And Matt is making a look inside, and I think he's going to get him. Nope, Andrew holds it. They gave each other room. They gave each other room. I think Mark must be towing, unfortunately. Alright, so Andrew continues to lead by 0.5 seconds over Matt. Matt had taken the lead for a few laps, but Andrew's back out there. This could be setting up for a late race maneuver of some sort. Teammates be damned. What is Matt doing? He's fallen off the toe. What's going on? He's 1.3 seconds back. He's going to lose that draft. I wonder if he's got some damage. Matter of fact, let's take a little closer look at that car. Yeah, he's beat up even more, it looks like. But if I recall correctly, he was saving that fast repair, so we're going to find out when he makes his final stop, which has not happened yet. And obviously he's got it within 1 second, so the stop is going to be critical. David Carlson, 30 seconds and gaining. Seconds and gaining. And a 146. He's the fastest GTO on track right now. Is David Carlson. So we would not count him out. He's on the podium currently. Can he improve on that, I guess, is the question. He's 26 laps into this stint. He'll be making a stop fairly soon. And again, these last stops, how much fuel do you put in if a guy accidentally calls for too much, more than he needs? That's going to cost him some precious seconds. So Mark Davis down to 29, so he's broken into the 30-second range back to Matt. who's now fallen 3.5 seconds back of Andrew. David's coming up to lap Jonathan again, and does so. Or Craig Hawkins, excuse me. Laps Craig Hawkins. Puts him 2 laps down to the GTO leaders. .60 laps in, 43 minutes to go. Projected 86 laps. David continues. Yeah, he's 28 seconds. He is just. Oh, and he's. Matt's taking his pit stop. Matt's getting that repair. Let's see. I'm guessing he's going to get the fast repair this time. He's going to take that spare car, and he's away. Let's take a look at the car. No, he didn't. He must not have had it. He must have already used it. That's unfortunate because that thing is not looking great. I don't wonder how much repair he took. Let's see if he improved his car at all, because I think his pace was down a little bit from what he's capable of. And he is now taking his last stop, and that one was a 1:09 overall, 48 seconds in the stall. We'll see if it's good enough. Even with that extra stop, he's still in 3rd in class, so he's ahead of Jason. James is being chased by Matt on different laps. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that Matt's car is damaged because he wasn't sucking up on him as you would expect. Which is going to be a problem because it's difficult to pass in the infield as it is, and if your car is aero damaged to the point where you can't use the draft like you would like to, it's going to be real difficult to advance even against a slower car. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles that as he again pulls up onto James. Matt's trying to go around him on the outside, and he does. There he goes. So he gets by him. He should be faster in the infield, so that's good. How much time is he losing to Andrew, though? And when is Andrew going to make his stop? Now that Matt's made his stop and is on fresh tires, presumably, does Andrew feel the need to come in and match him, or not? Does he have a different strategy? Is he trying to run to a number and then take a less fuel? It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. As our leader is coming up on Taylor Frey. And Taylor holds the line. Is he going to get there before turn 1? He does. He does. He does. So we're in good shape. Some guys that are making some nice progress. You've got Marshall Williams started back of the field and is up to 9th overall, 7th in class. Samuel Doty is up to 8th in class, 10th overall. Again, it's just surviving this thing. It's awesome. Marshall clearly getting a handle on it as we go along. His best lap's now 147. Most recent lap's 149. He's making progress actually on most of the GTO cars in front of him. With 40 minutes to go, will he make up enough? Don't know. And sadly, Mark Lossing is still out of this race after leading it for a long time. Continues to tumble down the order. We now looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers not on track. And now Andrew's coming in for his last stop. This is the money stop right here. Where is Matt? Let's find out. So Matt is got a whole lap to come around while Andrew's in pit lane, and he is in pit lane, so we'll keep an eye on that as Matt tries to make his way up. How close is he going to get? So he's not yet to the bus stop. Andrew is 20 seconds into his stop, or he's 8 seconds into his stop. Excuse me. That stop should take 48 seconds. I think that Matt's going to jump him, actually. Matt's just exited the bus stop. Andrew a little more than halfway through his pit stop. Although he may have again, if he's done his fuel calculations right, he's going to be a little shorter on this stop. Shouldn't be the full 48, but he's still on the jacks. And Matt is going to be going by pit lane right now. And Andrew's away. This is going to be close. And Matt jumps him. There they are. They're side by side. But Matt has jumped him. So Matt back to the lead. He held it briefly. Andrews held it most of the race. The AR-15 guys are running strong in this split. Matt is... what has he got? A 1.6 second gap on Andrew. That's nothing to... that's just nothing, right? And David Carlson is 33 seconds back, so he's lost a little time through his stop when he was under 30. So, but a 146 last lap for David, so he's not out of this thing. We got 36 minutes left. This could well be a 3-car battle by the time it's over for the win. Eric Klein has nothing to fear but the track and his own ability. If he can just keep it on the track, he's going to win the overall and the GTP class easily. So I apologize for not giving you more screen time, but at this point you are running away with it. Eric, good job. And started second, and he was behind Mark Lossing for a long time. And right now, again, he's coming up on traffic, and the best thing he can do is, I mean, only pass on the ovals. Take it real easy. There he goes, blowing by a couple of Audis. Safely around, continues on his march to victory. 35 minutes to keep that thing clean, and he's going to have this thing with a 2-lap lead over Joshua Witherspoon. Matter of fact, the only other Nissan still left surviving on track is Mark Blendowski, who's 17 laps down. So we're going to say that we barely have 17 laps left. So at this point, it is officially a two-horse race for the Nissan, and again, Joshua does not have Eric's pace if he can just keep it clean. We've seen stranger things happen, though. All right, let's go back. 1 second gap from Matt over Andrew. There he is. There's the battle. Again, the draft should keep this thing close at this point. They're sucked up on each other. Nobody needs to stop again. It's all going to be about a mistake. Who makes the first mistake? Who flinches first? Got some comments in the YouTube chat that my volume is not very good. I've made an adjustment. Is this any better for anybody who's still watching? Alright, sorry for the lack of commentary there. I was trying to work on an audio issue. Alright, Matt Ridgway continues to lead teammate Andrew Ridgway by 1.2 seconds. David Carlson get damaged. He's going to be okay. It's too good looking a car not to take put a little bit of attention on it, although he's sort of been running a race all by himself. Obviously he's had cars around him, but he has not had much of a battle, let's put it that way, from the front or behind with regard to his position. He's sort of gained spots when other people have had attrition or had problems, and he's just kind of kept on keeping on. Even despite that's been no danger of losing a spot, it's 17 laps up on his nearest competitor for in class anyway. 2 laps up on the nearest competitor in the overall. Excuse me. Oh, Matt Ridgway has had a problem. Our leader went back onto the pits for a 3rd stop Let's see if we can't find out what happened. Let's go back further than that. There we go. What is going on with Matt? So this is a replay. Matt is into turn one, and he loses. Oh, that's in the bus stop, and he gets nailed by teammate. Oh my goodness. This has brought David Carlson right into the race. Holy moly. Okay, let's back that up another 15. So he just, I don't know if he caught the curbing wrong or if it was just because the car's a little bit damaged, but he just loses control. Andrew could not, there's nothing Andrew could do, absolutely nothing. And he nails him. Matt ends up in pit lane, and Andrew continues on, but I wonder if he's going to be down on pace. Let's find out. So, Andrew's still trucking, and is, he is 14 seconds up on David Carlson, although David, obviously for good reason, shaved 7 seconds off it in the last lap. Matt's 24 seconds behind David, so 37 seconds back all around. Let's see if how much damage might be on that thing. Get a better look. So he's dinged up, but it doesn't look catastrophic. We'll get a good idea as he comes around this lap what his time is. He's been running in the 146 range, 147. We'll see how far off of that he is, if at all. Matt appears to be well down on speed, though. Unfortunately, he's now 55 seconds back of David for second. David Carlson's just been lurking, sort of predicted it that he might come into play, and that does appear to be the case with 26 minutes to go. So the last lap for our leader, Andrew, was a 146. So he's not down. He's okay. He was damage did not affect his lap times. Now the question's going to be how much of that gift can David Carlson capitalize on? Is he able to make up this 13 seconds that he is down? Time's going to tell. Let's go take a look at David. He was 6/10 faster that last lap. 6/10 a lap is not going to get you there, I don't believe, although that would be very close if he can maintain that. He needs to probably be picking up a second a lap thereabouts, or have Andrew make a mistake, or have him run into an issue as he did getting collected with his teammate. Unfortunately, friendly fire is never fun. right, David, can you shave anything else off of this? Picked up 2/10 more that last lap. That's not going to be enough. I'm going to have to make it a little more than that, but it does appear that it's Andrew versus David as opposed to Andrew versus Matt for the win at this point. Right now, Matt is still on the podium in class, but teammate Jason Anderson is chasing him down a little bit, significantly. Almost 20 seconds cut into him on the last lap for that spot. Marshall Williams continues to truck along. 6th in class. Nice job, Marshall. Running a 1:48 last lap. He's got an outside shot at catching James for 5th in class, 7th overall. Samuel has gotten by Craig and Jonathan to move into 7th in class. And Craig has run into an issue, clearly. Let's see if he's down on power. Although he is pulling away from Taylor. Car does not look nearly as beat up as it is from that angle, I will say that. Taylor coming up on the back of Marshall. This is not for position. They are a couple laps apart. Again, with 21 minutes to go. What do you want to push? What don't you want to push? Do you want to make it to the end? I guess is a question that each of these guys has to answer for themselves. Racers are racers, though. You see somebody in front of you, you kind of want to pass them, especially if you feel like you're faster. We'll see if that's Taylor's mindset or not here as he comes upon the car that is ahead of him in the standings, ahead of him on the track. Both negotiating turn 1 fine. Keep an eye on this battle just for a second as I watch the timing. David is down 12.5 seconds back, picked up another 6/10 that lap. At the moment, it appears it's just going to be too little too late for David. If he were to come back, that would be an awesome run to the finish, but at this point, it looks like 2nd if he can just maintain. Taylor in 10th overall, who we are riding with currently as he tries to chase down Marshall Williams. Jonathan Diggs is his nearest competitor in the standings, although he is a lap back from him as well. So Taylor's kind of running his own race as we speak. The Dory Award, as Bill Zahn over at JSOC likes to give, has got to be Mark Landowski, who is running the issue after issue, 19 laps down, but he won't quit, and I appreciate that. I think that's an awesome spirit. Here he is as we ride on board with Mark in 14th overall, 4th in class. He's going to get 3rd in class. He's going to become podium on class, as a matter of fact, when he goes by Mark, who is out of the session, our one-time leader. And right now, Mark Blandowski has not really got anybody he's battling with, either for space on the track or in the standings. But he's battling himself. He's trying to make it to the end of this thing despite trouble. And when you do that, you've got something you can hang your hat on. 18 minutes and counting. We are drawing this thing to a close. Eric Klein comfortably now 3 laps up on Joshua Witherspoon for first in the Nissan. Not much of a battle for him. I'm sure he feels like he's been gifted this win, though, as he trailed Mark for the better part of this race. But you take them how you get them. Every win is earned, however it comes about, especially in an endurance race like this. You have to keep going because you don't know what's going to happen. Whether that race is 2.5 hours or 24, it doesn't matter. You keep going. It'll be interesting to see how this sort of mentality plays out as we get to Le Mans in June in a true 24-hour race where, I mean, if you think anything can happen in 2 hours and 24 minutes in 24 hours, that is amplified ridiculously. Would love to show a tight battle on track, but we don't have one. David Carlson is the best thing we got going here in second in class, 4th overall, chasing down Andrew Ridgway. David's 10.2 seconds back with 16 minutes to go. He did cut in almost 3 seconds that last lap, though, so don't know. It wasn't because David was faster. Andrew ran a 150, so he ran into a little bit of trouble. Let's check out Andrew, see what we can see. So that last lap, Andrew gets it back, runs a 147 flat. And David is now crossed start finish as well, and he runs a 146.3, so he still picked up another 7/10 and is down to 9.4 seconds with 15 minutes to go. That's what, that's going to be 10 laps ish, maybe 11. If he can run 11 laps, oof, it's going to be close. He's going to be able to see him. He's going to be able to see him if he can get to his toe. David could have a shot at this thing. So I think this is the battle we need to hang on to here to the end unless something changes. How can David navigate this traffic that is not people he's battling for positions, but they're certainly going to be slowing him down. He's got to get by him quickly, or he's going to find himself losing this time that he's gained. If he can use the draft appropriately, he can actually gain more. So we'll see. Craig gets out of the way. David scoots on by. You know, he's got another lap car coming up in the form of Taylor Frey in front of him. Where's he going to catch him? It's all important. This should be perfect. He should be catching a toe right now, and he hopefully will slingshot him before we get to turn 1. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, he's gaining quickly, but if he doesn't get there before turn 1, he could be stuck behind him for the whole infield, which is going to not be... Ooh, he gained almost 2 seconds that lap, but he did not get around Taylor before he got to the infield. This is going to be important. So David, 7.9 seconds back of Andrew for the lead in the Audis, but he's right now being held up. So can he get? He's got to do it. He has to. He's got to be aggressive. He doesn't really have a choice. he does get by Taylor without incident. We held up a little bit though. I will be very curious to see how that impacts his lap time.
That, bud. You're good. You're good.
Uh-oh. I don't know if he got a slowdown or what happened here. But Taylor just got back around him. And he's now fallen to 12 seconds back. What happened? Let's see if we can't... I don't know what happened. He just slowed down inexplicably. Huh. Well, that changes things dramatically. He goes from being 7 seconds back to 13 seconds back. He loses 5 seconds in that lap. But if it can happen to him, it can happen to Andrew as well. Unless David's just simply down on power. Don't know if he's hurt his engine or not. Runs wide into turn 1. Okay. Well, for now, let's keep an eye on our leader. We'll keep it here for a minute. 14 seconds lead for Andrew. He's frankly led this class most of the race. He's had a good battle with teammate Matt. And we had a prospective battle here with David, but that did not come to fruition, at least not yet. 11 minutes to go. It's not over, but he's looking a little more comfortable. Minutes to go in this first round of the season. Classic Daytona 2.4 Major Series. If you've got any questions about the series, what we do, you want to join, you can visit us at www.pacificmajors.com. You can register for the series, register for upcoming races, etc. If you are if you're a current member or just a fan, you can also check out the store at pacificmajors.com. We've got hats, t-shirts, posters, the whole kit and caboodle. Take a look. If you see something you like, grab it. It's kind of cool to run a race like this and then take a memento home with you, especially when you put in the time to survive it, the effort to survive it. All right, Andrew continues to lead. He's now up to 16 seconds up. 3 seconds. He pulled a 3-second gap on David that last lap. So again, all that work that David put in to gain, it appears to have gone away. And again, I'll be interested to know what happened to David, if something happened with his engine, because he's a good 3 seconds off his normal pace this last lap. And when he had once passed Taylor, he's been faster than Taylor the whole race, but he's not been able to get back by him now for a couple laps. So something is up with that car. Maybe we take a little closer look at the car, see if we don't see something. It looks clean from the front. It looks clean from the back. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's lost something in the engine. I don't know. He's overheating. I don't know. Something. He's just not. He's not able to get by Taylor here. Again, Taylor's several laps down to him. David was challenging for the lead. Now down 18 seconds. It appears that his chances for victory are slipping away. I'm sure to the relief of Andrew as he sees his relative screen getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't think that Matt Ridgway is going to come into play for second, though. 46 seconds back to David. It would take... He's 3 seconds faster the last lap, and there's just not enough laps for that to make a difference at this point. check in on our overall leader, Eric Klein. He's taking it easy. His last lap was a 1:43. He does not have to do anything crazy as he tries to navigate traffic here. He's, as a matter of fact, he's putting another lap on Joshua as we speak. So we'll put him 3 laps up on Joshua if he can get it done. But why would he be in a hurry to do that? I don't know. And I'm guessing he's not. Sometimes you get forced into the stuff though, because right now Joshua's going around an Audi of Taylor. Yep, so they just split up, Taylor and David. David's now 22 seconds back of Andrew, so there's something wrong with his car. Confirmed. Be interesting to see if we can... I'm curious to see what Eric does here, if he's just content to ride behind Joshua. They ran almost identical lap times last lap. He's 2 laps up on him. There's just zero incentive other than just being a racer to try to get by him. So my guess is that Joshua is going to be back there thinking, well, you're the leader, I'm going to let you through. And Eric's thinking, no, after you, please. I don't need to mess with anybody for anything. All I have to do is survive these last 5 laps, 6 minutes and almost 7 minutes here left in the race. He's going to have a win in the series. His first win in the major series is absolutely in sight. And the only thing that can prevent that is something silly at this point. Overdriving the car and trying to make a pass that doesn't need to be made. Even if there's traffic in his way, he's got the time to navigate it carefully. If he gets caught up in something, you'd have to put the onus on him at that point. Although he has definitely pulled up onto Josh's rear a little bit more. Maybe he's going to try to get by him in the oval section where there's a little less chance for something bad happening. Yeah, he's staying back. He's hanging back. He doesn't want anything to do with that. Alright, well, most of our battles at this point are not. They are not battles whatsoever. Well, I hope that these guys have enjoyed the 2 hours and 20 minutes that they have put in so far. Enjoy may be the wrong word for some of them, but I think they'll appreciate it when they're done, that they made it. You've got, what do we have? We got 13 cars still running. Likely to complete this thing. 20 cars give it a good go. Goes around Marshall. No issues there. Gets around Jason Anderson, no problem. I'm sure each one of those is a tiny bit of a pucker moment, and just one, there he goes, he's going to be trying to get around Andrew. These are our class leaders coming together. Obviously both of those guys have high incentive to not have anything happen, and nothing does. Eric Klein continues on, happy to just let Joshua kind of part the sea, if you will, in front of him, let him take the riskier move into traffic. I think that's probably really smart. Again, his last lap was a 1:39. He's a couple seconds off what he's capable of. He has no need to run what he's capable of. And that shows a lot of maturity, a lot of discipline to be able to do that. He just needs to get it home. Approximately 4 laps to go. David has swung the momentum back by 3 seconds, but he is 16 seconds back. He's going to need something fairly miraculous to get back in this thing. And if he does, I'm not sure he'd be awfully surprised, let's put it that way, if he were able to get back in this thing. At this point, he's in second. He's run a great race. Maybe he can keep it. He started in 13th. He's currently in 4th overall. It's pretty impressive. Oh my gosh, what has happened to Andrew? Andrew's in the pits. Did he not have enough fuel? Let's go back and check out what happened to Andrew. David Carlson has taken the lead unexpectedly. And I've got to assume that Andrew's just out of gas. Maybe. Here he comes. Yeah, he's out of gas. No question. There's nothing else wrong with him. He miscalculated his fuel. There's no other way you can say it. And that has given David the lead. Let's go back to real time here. Let's see how far back he is. So now David is at 14-second lead. This is crazy. It was a quick stop, only 4.5 seconds. So he just took on some fuel. He miscalculated the fuel. Oh my goodness, this is exactly what happened in the Euro split to a couple of the leaders, a couple of the times. And in an effort to speed up your second stop, I think they just have not. Oh man, somebody plowed into the fence. That was Jonathan Diggs. Let's back that bad boy up. 30 seconds. Too far back, but we're going to see him hitting, going right into the tire barrier here. I don't know if Joshua had anything to do with that or not. We'll get an idea here in a second. Still a bit of a noob when it comes to the replay controls. I apologize. Nope, he just missed a shift or missed his braking point or something, or maybe he was watching his mirror. But plows into the tire barrier, unfortunately. And he's stuck. That sucks. And it looks like he had to take a tow. That's too bad. Alright, David Carlson now has a 24-second lead. Inherits it at the last moment of the race with Andrew running out of gas. Wow. And now it's a 41-second gap. You kind of got to assume now that it's gone to his favor. 17 seconds left before we get the white flag. He is... We are on the last lap. This is it. He's coming home. David Carlson is going to be coming home to take the win in the Atlantic region, second split of the Classic Daytona 2.4. Congratulations, David Carlson, on the win in class. Congratulations, Eric Klein, on the win in his class and overall. Great stuff. Alright, we are going to step away just for a second, see if I can't get any of these guys in Discord to talk about the race.
I'm stressed, very stressed.
Well, okay, so tell me what happened at the end.
Good
You
race,
just
Dave.
miscalculate the fuel, or what happened?
Um,
Thanks, buddy. Yeah,
Me
good race.
and I caught up with my teammate Jason. Um,
Good one.
we were talking to each other. I was supposed to pass him on the inside. I went to go shift down going into the first horseshoe, went from uh third going down into second gear. The car shifted into neutral. Wouldn't let me brake right, and I just made contact with him. Had to pit for repairs, pulled in, used my fast repair, and I don't know if it was coming off of pit road right at the beginning with the Nissan, if I uh, got the black flag there or got the black flag coming out of the pits. I came in to serve it, and it still left me the black flag even after it was served,
Oh no, oh no. Well, I
which is not the first time it's happened to me in iRacing.
huh. Well, I misguessed on the reason you came into pit the last time, but I thought it was a fuel issue, but obviously not.
No, I was clear to go all day. Just second time made contact with Jason and just hit him the wrong way. Had to come in for repairs. My steering wheel was sideways, and I wasn't 100% sure on the rule about having to, if it tells you to come in for pits, if it was going to penalize me if I didn't, with 1.5 laps left. But I just went ahead and did it.
Yeah, if you're anything, you got a black flag, you're gonna want to get that cleared before the end of the race. But it was fun to watch you. I thought, honestly, I thought between you and Matt, it was going to be a heck of a battle to the end, and then one thing kept happening. You guys got together one time in the bus stop. I don't remember. I think it was Matt that he lost it a little bit, and you didn't have anywhere to go, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Right. He got a little loose, tried to correct it, went sideways, and I locked my brakes up and just had no way of avoiding him.
Yeah, that's what we saw for sure on the screen. But right up until with what 3 4 minutes to go, it looked like you had run a real clean, consistent race, and thought you were going to take it home. But second, nothing to sneeze at.
Did it officially finish me in second? Because it's showing me right now that Matt finished ahead of me, but he was definitely behind me.
Well, it's showing. I mean, on my timing and scoring, it's showing him ahead of you. But yeah, I saw you cross first, so I'm not sure. I guess we'll wait for the results file.
I don't know if you guys managed to catch it or not, but it was on my lap 54, I think, going into turn one. I drifted through that turn like I it was ridiculous. I'm surprised that I saved it. It looked like some Ken Block Gymkhana kind of stuff,
There was
but
a
it was
yeah. Go ahead.
just a perfectly smooth drift.
Yeah, that I'll tell you what. Turn one or either of the horseshoes was good for a lot of that throughout the field and throughout both of the races that we had previously. So it was cool. Well, I hope you had a good time. And anything else I'm missing, or anything else you want to give a shout out to?
Not that I know of. Really proud of my team. We've dealt with some leagues before and had bad luck with just constant crashing and people having no idea how to race. And I think all in all, between the three of us that are racing for AR-15, we are very happy with the way this race turned out. Um, Especially finishing um, fourth, fifth, and sixth overall. So wish we had a little more competition with the split, but I know with the way the splits are divided, it was more fair on the first split.
Yeah, I would have loved to have kept all 58 drivers in Atlantic in one split, but I just felt like there was too much of a disparity in speed. So we went with the
Right.
two smaller splits. And again, I think that it provided cleaner racing, and not necessarily as exciting, but cleaner, and I think that's a good thing. All right, well, it looks like you have muted yourself. So, Andrew, I appreciate you coming in. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to start talking to Taylor. Great race.
All right, appreciate it, man.
You bet. Hey, Taylor, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Well, what'd you think? How'd your race go?
Went better than I actually expected. Um, in practice, I've been struggling a lot with the car and the handling, especially in bus stop. And this race actually was a lot better than what I've been doing in practice. The longest run I've had in practice was about like 10 laps, and this was a lot more than I expected for, not spinning out the car or getting into any sort of incidents. But
Yeah, I noticed that you had quite a consistent run for a good portion of the race, where it was high 140s, just knocking them out lap after lap. That was good.
the car felt pretty great. Um, During the practice session before the race, I tweaked a little bit of my setup, trying to see if I can create a little more speed than what I've been getting in practice, and the car felt great, and we it wasn't the fastest, but it was definitely fast enough to where I can actually take some overtakes if I wanted to.
Well, first race in the series down. What'd you think overall?
It was relatively exciting. It was clean. I think the only incident that I had was I think it was the 97 was down on the track, and I tried to go high and we tangled, but that was I that was the only big incident for me for today. So we can keep that going into the Daytona 500, and with the duels and all that, I should be should be fine for me. And it should be a pretty fun year.
Yeah, I hope so. I know that's more sort of in your wheelhouse, right? Is the oval stuff, right?
Yeah, as the ovals, this is kind of one of like the only times I've really raced the road courses, and it's not bad for my first time really. I've been doing some practice in the Mazda Cup, but that's just like it was not a it was practice nonetheless, but
Yeah, that's a whole different animal. Those
hmm
you can't even compare the two. So this is a
yeah,
whole different beast. So congratulations on making it through.
yep,
All right, buddy. Well, I'll let you go, and good job.
yep. Thank you for allowing me to take this interview.
You bet. Okay, so we're gonna call it a day with that. Thank you to Taylor. Thank you to all the participants, and this is the maiden voyage, as I said before, this of broadcasting this. So we'll get better. Appreciate everybody bearing with us, and hope you enjoyed it. Catch you next time.